evening and welcome to the 2021 Boone Honors Program Banquet. I know the students in the room are probably feeling both that you've been on this campus a long, long time and also that you can't quite believe you've already got to this moment. And I think that's a pretty common feeling at this point. I wanted to tell you that I bought the dress I'm wearing in the summer of 2019 for last year's honors banquet. And I thought I would just say that myself. Be saving it instead in 20 months, but I am incredibly to be here in person, and I know that graduates in particular are as well.
It's great to have something that feels a little bit more like normal. We've spent the last year working on being apart. It is kind of nice now to start working on being together again. I'm very grateful for it. I'm sure you are too. So congratulations on wrapping up the year, wrapping up this year. I think probably in the next couple of years, just simply putting that you were in college during 2020, 2021, not to be enough in order to get hired, whatever it is that you're on. This is a year that's been filled with challenges and opportunities, and you have risen to those challenges and you've taken advantage of those. It's been a year filled with new ideas and having to do some very familiar things in very new in that kind of year. And it's been a year of let's be honest, an opportunity to have deepen relationships, deepen friendships. It's put us into smaller pods of people, and that's given us an opportunity to really deepen some of those friendships and some of those relationships. So it's been that kind of year too. And so tonight we celebrate you. We celebrate your accomplishments. We celebrate your dreams and your hopes. We celebrate your efforts, the things that you've done over these last months and these last years. And I want, if you would please, to just join me in expressing some gratitude and thanks, particularly to Dr. White, who has given great leadership and continues to give great leadership to the Boone Honors Program. There have been countless students who have benefited through the years from Dr. White's counsel and wisdom, and as I know each of you have as well. And you know as well as I do, there are all kinds of mentors out there in the world. No shortage of people who want to tell you how to do things and how you can be better and so on. Best kind of mentor is the kind of mentor who embodies that in his or her own life. Not just it tells you how to achieve excellence, but who embodies that in her own life, and that's Dr. White. So would you join me in thanking Dr. White? Well, this is a forward-facing event. It's one where we're kind of looking to the future, certainly celebrating your past, but also looking forward to whatever it is that comes next for all of you. And I love what you've been doing, and I love what this program does, what each of you have done. You've pushed just a little bit farther, You've reached just a little bit higher, and because of all that, you've gotten just a little bit better, and that's exciting. I want to encourage you all. My final verse is, I know that I stand between you and dinner, and all of us at dinner, but I want to encourage you that as you move forward, whatever it is that you do, and wherever it is that you find yourself, to work at keeping curiosity alive. Work at keeping curiosity alive. That's one of the things that makes a huge difference between a person who has a kind of stunted imagination and a person who is lively and imaginative and creative. keep curiosity alive. Today is Earth Day. The creation has a lot of things that will excite our curiosity, one of which today is why on the 22nd of April it's so darn cold. But nevertheless, there are all sorts of things that creation opens for us in terms of curiosity. Keep curiosity alive, keep imagination alive, and you will help keep the spirit of the Boone Honors Program alive. Thank you so much and welcome.
Thank you, Dr. Johns, for this words. We are going to go ahead with dinner because we have 15 graduates to honor tonight. I'm also excited about that. This is our largest class of graduates receiving the honors medallion. The second largest class was 10 in 2014, so it's the largest by a lot. We're going to have a lot of speechifying after dinner, so you're going to need a good meal before that happens. And I am delighted that Mr. Mark Maines, who is Susie Maines' father, has agreed to offer the blessing. So if you would come forward, please. After that, I'll have just a few directions for you about the meal.
Let us pray. Heavenly Father, we thank you for this day and for the opportunity to gather to honor these young men and women. We thank you for the blessings you have showered upon them and ask that you continue to bless them as they move into the next phase of their lives. We thank you for the family, friends, and faculty of these young men and women, for all their love, support, and encouragement. Father, we ask that you bless this food set before us and those who prepared and served it. In the name of Jesus Christ, our Lord, who lives and reigns with you in the Holy Spirit, one God, forever and ever. Amen.
Members of the catering staff will come around to your table and dismiss you to go to the buffet, and so please wait for that. While we are having dinner, you are going to be watching a slideshow featuring all the members of the Boone Honors Program, seniors and members who are continuing into next year. So enjoy that. And once we have finished dinner, then we will proceed with honoring the graduates. Thank you, Mike. You do everything well. I also want to thank a few other people, just so I do not forget. First of all, is Jamie Campbell in the room? Jamie Campbell for the Media Relations Office for taking photos. And I will ask when we're finished tonight, those of you who are graduating, I will ask if you'll stick around for a group photo, please, before you head out. Mike Vaughn, Ryan Sidhu, and our facility services staff for helping with all the technical arrangements. It's an enormous relief to me to not have to worry about whether the Zoom is going to work, or whether the PowerPoint's going to work, or whether the recordings are going to play. Taylor Chitwood, who also is a Ferrum College alumnus, who's also helping out with technology tonight, and who is also a member of the Boone Honors Program at Ferrum. And also, just a couple of other folks. I want to thank Sandy Pagans, who is Administrative Assistant in the School of Arts and Sciences, for helping with the printing of the programs. Dr. Catherine Grimes for helping me with gift wrapping. And Brady Hinton and Amber Osborne for being here early to make sure that everybody got into the right seat. Would you please give all those people around the applause? Before we move on to the tributes to seniors, I'd like to say just a little bit about how the honors program at Ferrum is overseen. There are two groups which are involved in making decisions about the honors program. The first of those is the steering committee, and that group is composed of faculty members from every academic school, as well as one student member, and that student is the chair of the Honors Advisory Council. We'll tell you more about that group in just a minute. Currently, the members of the steering committee, would you please stand when I say your name, are Dr. Sandra Lai, who is Director of Graduate and Online Education. Dr. Lai also is a member of the first graduating class of honors graduates at Ferrum. And by the way, the honors program will be celebrating its 20th anniversary in the fall, so we're really proud of that. Dr. Lai, I did not mean to make you feel Dr. Tim Daniels, Assistant Professor of History, is a member of the steering committee. Dr. Sharon Stein, Professor of Psychology, who is with us in the Zoom tonight. And also Alex Matson, who is one of our seniors. Alex, would you stand, please? Then you can sit back down, and I'll ask you to come to the microphone. Alex is the chair of the Honors Advisory Council this year, and the Honors Advisory Council is the student organization which has representatives from every cohort, every class of honor students, which makes recommendations anytime there are changes in policy or changes in the curriculum of the honors program. We've had a change this year because a lot of students have not had the opportunity to take standardized tests due to the pandemic. We completely changed our admissions process this year so that we're reviewing a lot more materials for honor students, and I think providing an opportunity for some students who otherwise might not be flagged as potential honors program members. And all of the folks who I just introduced have played a really instrumental role in selecting next year's new members of the Boone Honors Program. So I'm really grateful to them. And now I'd like to ask Alex Matson to come to the podium and tell you a little bit about the Honors Advisory Council and introduce those members.
Hi, like Dr. White said, thanks for that introduction. My name is Alex Matson. I'm one of the graduating seniors. I'm the chair of the Honors Advisory Council. And like Dr. White mentioned, the Honors Advisory Council is a select group of honors students that get selected usually in freshman year. And we discuss proposed changes to the honors program, work to improve the program. We're there, in my view, to advocate for the honors students. And to make the program the best they can possibly be. So now I'm going to ask the current members to stand. I guess I can name you, or you guys can all just stand. Jack Sheehan, a member of that group, Sam Chappell, Elena Maltons, Amber Osborne, And then we have some others that aren't with us. Madison Fogel, Jenna Lambert. Right. I think that's the one. And thank you guys for serving. I would like to announce that next year's chair will be Madison Fogel. She is an agricultural science major from Charlestown, West Virginia. And so congratulations to that. She's on Zoom. I know she's already posted. And congratulations to all the graduates.
Thank you, Alex. I actually think Maddie probably is driving at this moment, so I'm not sure what we're listening to the Zoom right now. Okay, so let's move on to the part of the program that we have all been looking forward to, the recognition of the 15 students who will be receiving the honors medallion on May 1st. I will be inviting faculty members whom the students have identified as faculty that they want to offer some remarks about their work at Ferrum. Faculty members will, in most cases, come to the microphone to do that. We do have a few faculty members who are not able to be with us tonight. And in that case, they have pre-recorded their comments, so you'll be hearing them speak and you'll see them, but they will not be with us in the room. Seniors, after the remarks about you, I will ask you to come forward. And those of you who have been at the honors banquet before have seen this happen previously. I'll ask you to come up. I will be giving you a small souvenir, a small gift, and then we will take a picture with you and me and the faculty member who is your guest. So stick around for a few minutes for that to happen. And we're going to begin. We're going to begin with Elena Waltons, who is a pre-professional health sciences major from Callio, Virginia. Did I say that right? Excellent. And Elena's faculty guest is Dr. Ed Howley, who's a member of our political science faculty.
Hooray for us, that's order, right? Most of the time, when faculty write speeches for graduating seniors at the honors banquet, it's because they've been in our program and we've had half a dozen classes. But as you know, many honors students come to Ferrum with a lot of credits to their names already, and they purposely move to their courses to graduate Ferrum. In Elena's case, she's only been at Ferrum for 3 years, and I've only had her for 2 classes, one in her first semester of college and one in her last. My original plan for this speech was to do a before and after her, the new college student going to senior, and show how much she's grown. But to be honest, I'm not entirely sure that Elena has grown in most ways because it's nearly universally acknowledged by friends, coaches, and professors that Elena was amazing when she first arrived at Ferrum, genuine, driven, and compassionate, and she's amazing now. So instead of doing a lengthy before and after comparison, I just want to highlight all the ways that Elena has been consistently an awe-inspiring person the entire time that she's been at Ferrum. Elena's, first of all, one of the most genuine students I know. We all have novel ways of looking at the world, unique perspectives, and quirky personality traits that make us stand out. But many of us are afraid to share them with others, especially in new environments, like starting a college career. I think it's a tragedy that students hide so much of what makes them being interesting for fear of standing out. But in Elena's first semester, I feel like I got a true idea of who she was. And it's really rare for a freshman. Many college students don't break out of their shell until senior year, and some never really break out at all. She wasn't afraid to show her artsy and creative side, her contributions to Honors 100, such as writing a script for a mini horror movie, or insightful, creative, and unique. Really nervous there. She produced lots of amazing original artwork, some of which was given to friends and others who were able to be published to the entire college to enjoy, such as the Chrysalis magazine, which I will be showing tonight. Elena's also always been a really driven individual, one of those people who inspires you with how good they are at everything they do. From academics to art to athletics, Elena hit the ground running and classroom, on the athletic field, in general campus life, and never wavered in her commitment to any of them. It's very easy to fall into the mindset of doing just as good as she needs to do in order to get by. But to my knowledge, she's never really done this. I'm always excited to read her work in class because I know I'm going to get something that's her best effort, it's creative, insightful, a little bit weird. Likewise, her coaches report similar experiences about her performance in the field. Coach Bismuth reports how, as a freshman, she had no competitive swimming experience, but quickly became one of the top breaststrokers on the team, inspiring others with her dedication and new attitude. And because the theme of this speech is Elena is consistently awesome, she didn't just rest on her laurels with the swim team, but also joined the track team in her senior year. Coach White praises her for her dedication to her training schedule. She didn't use being on the swim team as an excuse for doing less training in track, and he believes this is a true testament to her character. Elena is also a compassionate person. She cares about other people and is seeking her master's degree in biomedical sciences with the goal of making the world a better place. Her closest friends will confirm this vision of Elena. She's always been the person that you can confide in, a good therapist, as one of her close friends says, or will selflessly lend you the exact thing you need to finish your paper on time. Elena related a story to me which touched me very deeply about being a patient representative and training experience. She was able to spend a few hours with a 12-year-old on suicide watch. And in this time, with just Elena being Elena, the girl said that she didn't want to give up anymore after a few hours of talking to her. The girl's mother later called up the program to sing her praises. Her influence made a world of difference in this one life at the exact time that it was needed the most. I know Elena will go on to have this effect 1,000-fold in what she does. So in conclusion, if there's one way in which I hope Elena has grown in her time at Ferrum, it's I hope in her confidence. In her email to me asking me to do this speech, she said that I, quote, helped make college a less scary place. In a freshman paper, she admitted to trying out for the improv club, but then backing down at the last moment. Some of the artwork she's done, she's not terribly proud of. But none of the rest of us see that when we regard Elena. As freshmen, if she did find college a very scary place, she certainly didn't show it. She's one of the most fearless freshmen I've ever known. The paper about the improv experience was masterfully done. And a piece of artwork that she was not terribly happy with is now proudly hanging in the room of a good friend who absolutely loves it. So to quote Vince Vaughn's character in the movie Swingers, you're so money and you don't even know it. That's how we feel about you, Elena. Your professors, friends, coaches, those that had the privilege of getting to know you these last few years, we're always in awe of who you are and what you can do. I hope that you come to see yourself in the way that you always see.
A very brief example. First program approach their work. And I'm thinking of a presentation that I saw Bryce Beard junior seminar class. He was talking about what's called Zeno's paradox, which is the story of Achilles racing the tortoise and the question of why Achilles can't ever catch up with the tortoise, because every time Achilles closes a gap, the tortoise has opened a new gap. I can't explain it nearly as well as Bryce can. You may not think that when I saw this presentation. Bryce approaching this paradox from using the methodology of physics and philosophy. Because Bryce is a chemistry major and his philosophy of the way the students that are on disciplines and modes of thinking. It's really exciting to watch that happen. Dr. Jack Corbin Jr., who is a member of our philosophy faculty, has reported his
All right. I am. Material, still down to present to a wide range of audiences. She has receptive questions. Her work has always been impressive, and she's willing to help others who struggle in class. I know students who have met with her for private study sessions, text her late at night and email her for help in my classes, and she's always willing to go. She's highly intelligent, she has a great work ethic, and she's a great student. But in addition to those academic qualities, she's a great individual. She's a natural leader with drive and vision. She's willing to voice her opinion or ideas even when others won't in my class. She actively avoids groupthink and is willing to offer a different perspective, which is refreshing and nice in my class. She's willing to stand up for her principles and beliefs. She's friendly, helpful, and she has a great personality. She volunteers for help both in the classroom and in the community, and she's also a student athlete. I've greatly enjoyed having Kayla as a student over the last few years, and I'm excited to see what the future holds for her. She's been accepted into multiple graduate programs, and she'll be going to UNCG's Master of Science in Counseling. And I know she's going to make an excellent addition to our field, and she will make the world better. It took a lot of hard work to reach this goal you've done. You've shown up every day, whether you felt like it or not, and you did so with grace, dignity, and grace. I hope you feel great about what you've accomplished, and I hope you continue to be a person who shows up day in and day out for the things that are worthwhile and important in life. Congratulations today, and best wishes for you.
At the academic awards program last week, I was thinking that, decades from now, there will be children who will be looking at our graduate pictures and asking, Mama or Grandmama, why did you have those things on your faces? Our next graduate is Jacob Laubervich from Salem, Virginia, who has the distinction of having 3 academic majors, pre-professional health sciences, pre-med, also biology and chemistry. Jacob's faculty speaker is Dr. Maria Puccio, who's a former member of our chemistry faculty, and we'll hear Dr. Puccio in her report. the distinction of being the first student to come to Ferrum College who grew up playing soccer with my sons. So in that reason, Sam kind of has a special place in my heart. Some of the other members of the program. Offering remarks about Sam will be Dr. Todd Frederickson. Dr. Frederickson is also the faculty speaker for Katie Show, who's also an environmental science major, and also for Hannah Smith, and prefers to recognize all three of you at once. Is that okay? All right. I knew there'd be a lizard involved. So. Thank you.
Is this thing on? Yes, good. So, just first of all, I would say it's an honor. Happy birthday to you. I have to say that because I'm an environmental science person. I know we could spend a lot of time talking about each of these three great students, but they are, after all, it comes a package. They are the three musketeers, or los tres amigos, right? Or it's just in Spanish, los tres chiflados. Three Stooges. Anyways, they come as a package deal, but they're great friends. Two, they're all environmental science majors. Three, they're all swimmers, swimming. They're all honor students. They all took Spanish together. But they were in several of my classes. And y'all did really well. And y'all can work together on projects. And so they would always do the best job. They would always come to help and set an example and bust the curve for all the other stuff. But they also work together at night, I understand, because I go to bed at night. But I understand that they often spend late night in the library together. And of course, working hard, doing all the projects together and 19 credit hours and all that. But they would, like most college students normally do, procrastinate and spend late night in the library, probably have a whole run place. And I understand that some of their antics included playing the weirdest music, weirdest music video, and watching weird animal fight wild or something like that. And then apparently they would often drift away from the library, go on a hike, take a break, and maybe Sam, you can explain how you found your way to the balcony of the chapel.
Sure, we just got to go there and always seem to be unlocked.
Checking out your security, that's good, I like it. But they all have their unique personalities. And I remember Sam, I think it was freshman environmental science class. Sam would sit in the front, right in front of me. And I don't know if it was swimming or late night in the library, but he would start nodding along. And I thought, this guy's bad. And then either that or my lectures were really boring and simple stuff. But he was always, regardless of how many times he nodded off, he was always saying this. And Hannah, she was very interesting too. I think that she has probably turned over every rock and log in the forest here on campus, looking for small animals like that. And I heard a story too about you guys walking through and picked somewhere through the cemetery. You started talking to the people that were inhabiting the cemetery. Really friendly. It's just very personal. And then Katie, and I got right, because one day in wildlife class, right, Katie's usually not late for class, but Monday she's late. And so she pulls up a chair and there is a snake. Katie's somehow got a foot snake. I don't understand. Anyways, I don't think it was Sam. I don't remember if it was Sam that. Anyways, Katie, I got you. Your friend. That was one. Well, what's next for the Three Musketeers? I guess Sam graduated last winter. He's working in Park College. Katie is going to go off. Canada's internship finish up. I think all three of them will probably wind up in grad school. And that's all I have to say about that.
Sam, I have no doubt you were in the chapel in the middle of the night because you were praying about it. Our next graduate is Dakota Fletcher from Berryville, Virginia, who is a computer technology and information systems major. Dakota, I'm not sure whether you're aware of this, but I think that you are the first CIS major to successfully complete honors program requirements. We've had CIS students in the program before, but I think you're the first to complete requirements. Dakota's faculty speaker is Dr. Ty Ajani, who will be speaking to us by recording. University, right, and also interning at the Federalist Society in Washington, D.C., while also having been in a Ferrum class this semester, thanks to technology. And I know that Sean is listening in the Zoom. Sean, we're sorry you can't be with us tonight, but we are very proud of you and look forward to seeing you at graduation. And we will hear some remarks now from Dr. Endowed.
With Sean, I think the perception a lot of people get when they see him in class is that he doesn't take things seriously at all. He'll slide into class in a Grateful Dead t-shirt, then sit in kind of a slouch for the whole period, and often doesn't take very scrupulous notes, or sometimes no notes at all. He's notorious for derailing professorial trains of thought and causing those students to veer off in weird directions, making casualties out of carefully crafted lesson plans. But that's just the perception. You can't have 9 classes with someone and not get glimpses about the hidden depths that most people don't get a chance to see. In Sean's case, despite this lack of appearance, he's one of the most knowledgeable, principled, and capable students that I've had the honor to teach. Sean's knowledge of world events, history, politics, culture, and bizarre ephemera is pretty vast. I'm always impressed when he whips out an obscure fact in class. A few times I've had to look them up later myself. This came in handy when he started the class on public opinion and conspiracy theories with me in the spring of 2019. The main assignment in class was to research a real-life conspiracy and then create a different one out of whole cloth, present them both to the class, and see how many could tell the two apart. To do well on this type of project, you have to both be good at research and creative enough to write something convincing. And not surprisingly, Sean pulled off both, fooling more people with his fake conspiracy theory than anyone else in the class. Sean's easygoing attitude might fool you into thinking that he doesn't care about much, but this is really far from the truth. In my policy analysis class, we made principled and passionate stands in regards to the opioid epidemic, immigrant rights, and climate change. In citizenship and service learning, students are responsible for researching a service project and making a pitch to their fellow classmates at the beginning of the semester. The idea being that whichever one gets the most votes is what we're going to be working with the course of the semester. To the surprise of many in class, Sean gave a presentation that was both exquisitely researched as well as heartwarming about the Alzheimer's Association and how the disease had personally affected his family. The vote wasn't close at all. Sean's clear passion for the cause won over a vast majority of his classmates, and he chose that as their main class project, even though that was the semester that things eventually got canceled due to COVID. Sean kept raising money and awareness long after our original plan for the walkathon fell through. Finally, Sean is super capable. People who wear lots of tie-dye have an unfortunate reputation for caring about other things more than scholarly pursuits. Sorry, Tom. But Sean proves that stereotype wrong with an impressive GPA and acing almost every class that he's taken with me. Despite his haphazard note style, he absolutely destroys tests and written assignments. It's clear that he's paying attention and absorbing what the professors say. He just has his own way of doing it. We trusted him enough to represent Ferrum College well, and we selected him to take part in the Washington semester program at American University for this semester. He's been doing great in DC, has been interning in a well-known think tank, and plans to go on to law school in the near future. In The Sound of Music, there's a song about the main character, none who doesn't really fit in with the content of the radios. How do you solve a problem like no? I thought that song when writing the speech, imagining Sean in a similar position, not as a nun, but bear with me, I can guarantee this metaphor will pay off. Because on the surface level, he doesn't seem to fit the mold of a serious honor student. He jokes around constantly, he really takes notes, and he clearly delights in derailing lectures. So to answer the question, how do you solve a problem like Sean Monday? I had to think back to my own college days because he reminds me of me a lot. I'm sure we didn't have the same exact background. In my case, with a highly traumatic high school experience, I kind of learned to keep my trap shut, and as a result, when I got to a new environment, college, I saw it as a chance to be as weird as I wanted to be, and was kind of an oddball and loudmouth in most of my classes. The people that took the time to get to know me saw that this public persona wasn't really who I was, or more accurately, wasn't entirely who I was. I I'm sure Sean's backstory is much different from mine, but the result is pretty similar. I love the fun public side of Sean, and I don't think it's a front. I mean, it's legitimately a part of his personality, but it's also not entirely who he is either. I'm glad that I got a chance to know Sean and see the whole person, the person that's as knowledgeable, principled, and driven as any other student that I've taught, but is capable of balancing the humor and weirdness that is sadly lacking in a lot of college students. I'm sure Sean will excel at whatever he puts his mind to, and I'm honored to help him out in a small part of his journey.
Just in case you're wondering, Sean does have the attendance department in Washington who's waiting there, but just like everybody else. Our next graduate is Jenna Janicki, who is a health and human performance major from Grant, North Carolina. And we will hear from Dr. Karen Carpenter. Virginia, and Camden's faculty guest is Dr. Kate Goff. Need the stool or not. I'll go with that. Hi folks, my name is Katie Goff. I am an assistant professor of biology here at the college, and I'm also the program coordinator of the professional health sciences program. I'd just like to start out by saying that if you watched last year's recorded Boone Honors Program, that this year will in no way match Dr. Smolkova and I's recorded presentation. And so just count that out. And in addition to that, I don't have any awesome stories like the environmental science students. So you're gonna, I hope they're not too disappointed. I'm super excited to talk about Camden Marriott. Unlike programs like poli-sci and environmental science and psychology, I haven't had the opportunity to have Camden in a lot of classes. In fact, I've only had one class. I first came to know Camden when we came for a presidential scholars interview way back in 2019. And he was interviewed by our colleague Karen Dunning, who had the most wonderful things to say about him upon that first meeting. That summer, Dr. Whited and I worked back and forth along with many science faculty to try to figure out Camden's schedule. He was coming in with 74 credits. And at that time, and I have a quote from an email that Dr. Whited said that it would be hard for Camden to finish both his major and the Boone Honors Program in fewer than 3 years, even with the 79 hours already earned, 79 credits already earned. And so I'd just like to point out that Camden is finishing in 2 years. So not only is my interdisciplinary major such that I haven't had a chance to have him in classes, but he hasn't been here at Ferrum with us for very long. So many of you all, it seems like, oh, just a couple years and you're gone. For him, it really has been a couple years. So he's only been with us for 2, but he's left quite a mark on many of those that he's come into contact with. So Camden has maintained an impressive GPA while being a member of the Boone Honors Program, I was looked up, you see. I was going to say a pre-professional health sciences pre-therapy major. And I say that because I really tried to convince him to be that ever since he arrived. And he was one of my majors for 3 months. And then after that, we changed to what he really wanted to be. And that is a health and human performance major in exercise science. And so he said, this is just the way for me. So we changed. So he's maintained an impressive GPA. Member of the Boone Honors Program, participating in activities such as playing football during his time here and lettering in varsity football both years. He has been a rock star in the weight room, from what I hear from some folks who know, have not personally observed it. He's also shadowed in the athletic training office here at Ferrum, as well as done internship work with physical therapists, and has served as the Ferrum College admissions ambassador. I think that if I had to kind of summarize Camden's qualities, he's super focused. Ever since I've known him, he's been a little bit shy, but he's very thoughtful in processing what you're saying, and he's putting things into place, into a structure for his future. And talking to him and his family tonight, which I really enjoyed, I think I appreciate even more the intensity that he has and the interest that he has in putting together plans. He's going to Doctor of Physical Therapy school program at Radford University, Carillion. He's also accepted to the Mary Henry's program. And so part of his interest in being a physical therapist is really the backside of it, and that is making the plan, structuring and figuring out, okay, how are we going to get these muscles stronger to support this bone and all of that. So I think it's pretty cool. So he's focused, quiet. He's always good natured. He excels in the classroom, but never makes anybody feel less than. He's willing to help out. He is mature and was never distracted by social pressures, from what I saw, at least in the classroom. And
Something that he said tonight that really sticks with me is that he has really come to see, or he argued that time is what's really important. That time is what's important, that we need to think about that as we make our decisions about it. So I think that's pretty cool. So obviously, super smart, super motivated, super focused, and I can't wait to see what you're going to do in a minute. Congratulations.
That's cool. Okay.
I'll also note that at the same time, I'm going to present Hampton with the Outstanding Student and Health and Human Performance Award that he received at the academic award ceremony last week.
Your freaking laptop. How old is it? From the state? And like from the state? From what state? Is it yours or is it the state?
And I do have to say that one of my regrets about the pandemic is we didn't get to have that honors out trip to bowling. Sorry that didn't happen. Our next graduate is Alex Matson from Virginia Beach, Virginia. Alex is a pre-professional life sciences pre-med. Popular major, maybe the most popular in the honors program, and also a psychology major. And we will be hearing about Alex from Dr. Laura House.
You on now?
Yeah,
Through Jonathan's hotspot?
yeah.
So can we turn this off and so we can talk?
It's on because I can't get it on this yet.
Oh. How is it, Jonathan? Is it? Would you buy it again? Yeah. Maybe not. Good to know.
I would say not as good as homemade, and I don't know what the price difference is.
Yeah.
Again, it's not exactly a dish in general.
Right. Well,
I didn't say that, but it's just consuming it, I don't have it prepared.
I was going to say, it depends on
Dr. Daniels also, I think, is wearing the coolest socks in the tonight. So.
It's not the only one with problems. All right, Jack Sheehan. Jack, what did Sonny call you last week when you got the President's Cup? Pride of State College. I might go with the most of Colesburg instead. Jack last week won the President's Cup, which is the award given to the scholar athlete that best exemplifies the characteristics of a Ferrum student. First time a lacrosse player has won that. I know that is a huge surprise to all of you in the audience. Have you used that as a subject? Jack is going to go to Utah State next year and get his master's degree in history. That makes me insanely proud. I did a postdoc at Utah State before coming here, and I very much feel like I'm passing the torch to something that's passing it back. He got into several different graduate schools. I think first one as a teaching assistantship to go to Utah State, and it's going to do just fantastic from there. So what I would like to do is use this short amount of time that I've got to talk about the traits that I think Jack possesses that are going to make him excel at Utah State. First and foremost, no surprise here, he is intellectually curious. I once asked his mother what he was like before he came to Ferrum, and she told me that he always had his nose in a book, and because a picture is worth 8,000 words, it's small, you can see it later, but this is Jack in 9th grade. You can tell it's 9th grade because he's the same size and he doesn't have a beard. Another thing that is going to make Jack really excel is that, well, we should probably start writing a book already, because he is really good at renegotiating established deadlines. He, as a social studies major, thought he was going to teach, and I'm very happy that he's continuing his education before he gets there. But one of the characteristics of a good teacher is that they size up their audience, they collaborate with other people, and they figure out how to make really dense material accessible to an audience in a way that they might not have been able to fathom beforehand. So one of the things that Dr. White suggests we do to prepare for this is talk to other professors, see what these students have done in their classes, what they have to say. And on this point, Dr. Van Michael said that Jack is fantastic in this regard. This semester alone, when students in his history of Christian thought were having a difficult time mastering some concepts, Jack and several of his teammates in the class volunteered his love life, or lack thereof, as a metaphor for Christian thought. The rest of the class immediately got it. And I think probably the trait that is going to serve him best as an aspiring historian is that he really knows how to book you. When he presents something, he puts it out there in such a way that just grabs your attention, leaves you wondering where he's going to go, and once he's taken you there, he lets you step back and really ruminate on what it is that you have just experienced. So in January, my wife and I went out of town, and a lot of times after I've had a student a few times, I will invite them to come house sit, take care of the cats and dogs, feed the chickens, etc. And the first time's always, a trial run. There's some ground rules. Want to make sure that you can drive across the river. Number two, it's okay to have some people over, but no big parties. If you do have people over, you're responsible for whatever happens there. And I know what you are thinking, captain of the lacrosse team, what could go wrong? So Allie and I went down to Florida, visit her brother, came back. First thing we do is go and check the chickens because we have had some chicken problems in the past. I went down, coop was all together, all chickens were there. I think it was 19 at that point, good to go. And right about that point, I heard my wife Allie scream from the deck, "There is paint all over the grass." Paint all over the grass. I couldn't see it. I walked up on the deck and looked down, and sure enough, there were these two lines of a white substance all through the front yard, encircling the house, with little tentacles going off in all directions. And I don't know if any of you know about the hill figures that are in England. They're these huge, I think they're called geoglyphs that are carved into the side of the mountain that are viewed from, not above, but from kind of an angle. And where my house is, you can actually see the Blue Ridge Parkway. So first thought was, something weird is going on here, right? Either Jack has taken the postmodernism element of historiography a little bit too far, Or maybe he is trying to set up some type of distress signal because he couldn't get back to the river eventually he did. I pondered on that for 2 days, having no idea what the heck was going on. I looked at it a bit more closely. It wasn't paint, but it wasn't coming off the grass. And finally came to the conclusion that a bunch of guys had decided to have a fire, had decided to put that fire out, had decided to then stomp on the ashes to make sure that the fire was really out. And because they've been having a good time, go and probably at the same time find a variety of different trees and then go back to the same place. So it took a couple of days to get there. But that hook, there is paint on the grass, I think is actually very dramatic for the type of writing that Jack presents. As historians, we teach our students to listen for things that make you say, right? Things that buzz. And when Jack, as a junior, completed the senior seminar, doing it a year early because he was student teaching in the fall, which he did a great job at, the middle school wanted to hire him right away. He produced a paper that was better than any of his senior classmates. And the reason he did that was he had been lucky enough with his family to go to Venice and visit some family friends there. And in getting a tour of Venice, I think he also got a tour of what Italians are like, because the woman leading the tour said, "You see those eyeglasses? Venetians created those. We're eating at a restaurant. You see all this great food? Venice created international trade, right? You see that clock? Galileo invented time here, and all these great things." And he said that just can't be right. And what he ended up producing was just a beautiful piece of scholarship that detailed both why Venice was so powerful and important in the late Renaissance era, and also how Venetians are full of a bunch of BS and perpetuate a series of myths that in no way can be true, but are also part of that person. This is true for all of you, right? You are all the students that are so eager to answer questions, right? And my favorite moments with Jack in the classroom came after I'd had him for just a little bit, when instead of, especially historiography, so those of you who don't know what historiography is, it's kind of the writing and theory of history. It gets really dense, very philosophical. And a class of 15 students, I would often ask a question, and it was just, and Jack, hand up, hand up, hand up. By the end of the semester, after I had not intentionally called on Jack enough, we got to the point where we now have this kind of eye contact, and it's carried through in other classes, where I'll ask a question and I'll make that really uncomfortable silence, sit there, count your head to 10, make everybody squirm a little bit, and then I let it loose. And it is a thing of beauty to see. So, Jack, I'm very proud of you. I see a lot of myself in you, and I'm really looking forward to seeing what you do.
I wanted to real quickly, Jack also gave me a book recently. So in the kind of instance of the teacher becomes the student, I would like to read to you a bit of wisdom, if I can just find the page real quick. Chicka chicka, boom boom. Skit scat scoodle doo, flip flop tool. If anyone wants to see that picture close up.
Gee, we could probably arrange to do that picture on the Honors Program website. I would not want to end tonight without having some remarks about Tori Wagner, who graduated in December, completed her requirements for her pre-professional health sciences degree. Tori is now in a Doctor of Chiropractic program in South Carolina and could not be here tonight. And in typical Tori Wagner fashion, assured me that there was absolutely no need to go to any trouble to talk about her, because she didn't want me to put me in any trouble at this point of the semester. So I've arranged for Dr. Katie Goff to offer some remarks about Tori's work there. Tori can hear it on the recording.
Thank you. All right. Well, everyone else had props, so that professor can't be left. No, I'm just kidding. I don't have any. No, but that one's so cool if I could paint it. I didn't know it was a prop type of thing. So being the last speaker, I'd like to, first of all, be brief. And second of all, go ahead and congratulate all of you Boone Honors Program medallion awardees. And especially my four pre-professional health sciences majors here. I'd like to congratulate you guys as they were so proud and so excited for you. So Tori is one of my majors, pre-professional health sciences, free therapy. She's from Cartersville, North Carolina. And as Dr. White had shared, she graduated in December. My memories of Tori involve actually a number of you guys here tonight because they were part of my rock star first row in anatomy group. So for a year, I had, I think, well, half of the girls' women's soccer team in my anatomy class, and they all sat in the front row: Bella, Gabby, Alex, Casey, Kayla, Jenna, and Tori. And they were just there in the front row, and they motivated the rest of the students to perform at their best, never by making them feel again anything less than, but by showing them that their goals were attainable if they just put in the hard work, which is what all those things did. Tori was in about 1 million clubs. She was a longtime member of the Minds of Medicine Club and was an officer as well. Tori did an internship, did experience with a chiropractic agency in South Carolina. And as Dr. White had said, she ended up with Ferrum College of Chiropractic, which we have an articulation agreement with. I'm really excited to see what Tori does and how she shares her spirit with the world. She was obviously sharp as a tack, but funny and humble and all of those positive things. And I'll end with what Taylor Chitwood, sitting there in the back, said earlier tonight, and that is, there's only one Tori Wagner in the world, and just leave it at that, because that's the truth. So congratulations, Tori.
And now for a very brief story about the gifts and the opening of the gifts. And I promise we will be quick. I very much regret that Dr. Kevin Riley is not with us this evening because I would like for him to read the story. It is traditional for him to come into the honors capstone course and talk about the work of Dr. Mihai Csikszentmihalyi, who is a positive psychologist. We read some sections for Dr. Csikszentmihalyi's book, Finding Flow. It's during that portion of the course that Dr. Riley generally reads the following story. Dr. Robert Fulgham, a Unitarian minister, tells this story of one of his professors, a wise man whose name was Alexander Papaderos. At the last session, on the last morning of a 2-week seminar on Greek culture, Dr. Papaderos turned and made the ritual gesture. Are there any questions? Quiet quilted the room. These 2 weeks had generated enough questions for a lifetime, but for now, it was only silence. No questions? Papaderos swept the room with his eyes. So I asked, Dr. Papaderos, what is the meaning of life? The usual laughter followed, and people stirred to go. Papaderos held up his hand and stilled the room and looked at me for a long time, asking with his eyes if I was serious, and seeing from my eyes that I was. I will answer your question. Taking his wallet out of his hip pocket, he fished into a leather billfold and brought out a very small, round mirror, about the size of a quarter. And what he said was something like this. When I was a small child during World War II, we were very poor and we lived in a remote village. One day on the road, I found the broken pieces of a mirror. A German motorcycle had been wrecked in that place. I tried to find all the pieces and put them together, but it was not possible. So I kept the largest piece, this one. And by scratching it on a stone, I made it round. I began to play with it as a toy and became fascinated by the fact that I could reflect light into dark places where the sun could never shine. It became a game for me to get light into the most inaccessible places that I could find. I kept the little mirror, and as I grew up, I would take it out at idle moments and continue the challenge of the game. As I became a man, I grew to understand that this was not just a child's game, but a metaphor of what I could do with my life. I came to understand that I am not the light, nor the source of the light. But light, be it truth or understanding or knowledge, is there. And it will only shine in many dark places if I reflect it. I am a fragment of a mirror whose whole design and shape I do not know. Nevertheless, with what I have, I can reflect light into the dark places of this world, into the dark places of human hearts, and change some things in some people. Perhaps others, seeing it, will do likewise. This is what I am about. This is the story of my life. And then he took his small mirror and, holding it carefully, caught the bright rays of the daylight streaming through the window and reflected them onto my face. Graduates, you may open your gift. And I want you to remember two things when you look at this mirror. The first is, of course, to use the gifts which you brought with you when you came to Ferrum College, and the gifts which you have cultivated during your time at Ferrum College to shine the light into the world's dark places. And the second is the other important part of this story, which is to remember occasionally to play. To remember occasionally to use the mirror to reflect your life, just because that's an enjoyable kind of thing to do, to take time out of the seriousness of life. To remember that for Dr. Papaderos, part of the reason he kept the mirror is that it allowed him to play. I'm very pleased at this point to introduce to you the provost of Ferrum College, Dr. Amy Spassato, who will offer her congratulations to the graduates.
I have spent a great deal of time tonight in awe of the work that you have done. But you're a very special class to me for one important reason. I arrived also in 2017, so I have watched you grow over 4 years. You're my first honors program that I've gotten to see from beginning to end. But it's not really the end. You are going to serve as mentors to our students in the future as alumni, but you're going to be friends of the faculty. I have heard beautiful words coming from each of the faculty this evening, inspiring, at times touching. I got a couple tears here and there. There's beauty in the developments that they have been able to help you through the past 4 years. But also there's fun in the work and the hard work that you've done. We are proud of all of you. We're proud of where you're going, but we're proud of the impact. As Dr. White had said, share your light, spread your light. I'm just sharing greetings on behalf of the faculty, the staff, within the faculty area as well as in the student life area. I'd also like to take a moment to thank Dr. White for the work that you've done on a beautiful, beautiful touch of the banquet this evening. so much. Congratulations. I look forward to seeing you on the
Thank you, Dr. Sposato. Before we leave, could we take just a moment to thank that other group of people in the room who are your families and your loved ones? Because we all know that earning a college degree is a group project and it takes a lot of sacrifice on the part of a lot of people. So let's have a round of applause. Thank you so much for being with us here tonight. It's wonderful for me to have an honors banquet in person. I'm very much looking forward to 2 in-person graduations, and we look forward to seeing you all again on May 1st. Thank you and good night.